It is Saturday, November 13th here in 2021, and we had something really special that we did today with a few folks that decided to come out and join us on our very first official farm tour. So I think we got some footage. I want to go ahead and show that to you guys now. Shy of the house and the chicken coop and run itself. So just the coop and run. A year ago, those are the only two things that were here. So our goal here was to get the perennials and the trees specifically into the ground as quickly as we could. And so the challenge that we faced here is we have free range cattle, and now come to find out we have free range javelina. A lot more fun. One of the questions about loquats a lot of times is full sun or partial sun. You can see this is completely full sun. Anytime you get fruit set that's this thick on a loquat tree, you know it's real happy. Variegated caracara. So that one is one that he actually had on his property that was on a regular caracara like this guy here, and it had just a variegated branch. And so he took the variegated branch and he's been propagating that. We were talking a little bit about the reason for the trunk paint, and we were testing out an organic one that was sent to us by Ivy Organics. It has some natural deterrents as far as essential oils in there, and we were having problems with rabbits gnawing on the trunk. These are specifically designed to shade the chickens during the summertime, so in the afternoon. Any of your mulberry trees, you can kind of prune them and shape them however you want, and we got 21-gallon Ziplocs full of
I thought that was pretty wine.
Just from those three?
Just from these 3 trees. So any of your animals that eat grass naturally, this is a natural fodder for them as well. Any of the mulberries. Sure. Yeah, turtles, rabbits, all of them will eat that as fodder. So, who wants a mulberry? Jordan's going to take. So that one's going to taste half as good as it does in the spring. So.
Yeah,
right?
That's really good.
Right? And so, and how would you describe that?
It's sweet with a tiny bit of tart, but it's pretty sweet still. And it's good.
Did you get that on camera?
I hope so.
You described it perfectly. They're self-pollinating, so they don't need a pollinator. And they grow really, really well. They grow nice, aggressive for an almond tree, and they do produce well. It takes a few years. So it takes 4 or 5 years before they produce well. Okay. 7 years is the number for nut trees, generally. So it takes
even from like a cutting or?
Right, yeah, from in the ground. So once you have them in the ground, it's about 7 years. And we have coyotes that call the farm home. These are 2 holes that go down into a coyote's den. I believe we have the spreadsheet updated. We're on the 3rd page now. So that'll give you an idea of the varieties that we're doing. We have 2 type 1 pecans and 2 type 2s. Where you're standing now, the plan is to have a nice big water tank back here. So the water naturally flows back here. So we're going to do our best at trapping water before it leaves the property back here in this corner. So we'll be able to allow water to penetrate down. These trees have massive tap roots that go down as tall as the tree. So they'll go down 50, 60, 70 feet. So they will hit their own water down there. And then of course we'll trap water as best we can. The tree last year, we planted it about a year ago. It was that tall. It had 2 branches. And a violet de Bordeaux fig is known for growing slow and staying compact and small. So it didn't. Violet de Bordeaux figs, these get almost solid red, like a raspberry, overripe raspberry. So super, super red, and they're super, super sweet, but you can see they're small. So you get 2 crops off your blackberries, and yes, full sun. They need nice soft soil because they will send out runners. That's how they reproduce. This was one of the first things we did on the farm, was put wood chips in here with about half a bucket of compost that had worms in it. So we had that in the middle, wood chips on top and nothing else. We watered that all summer and then planted into it last fall. And you can see how these are doing. As soon as we see them starting to struggle, we'll go ahead and harvest. Most of these were 2 slips in each bed, and they've grown into this. They were overgrowing into filling these areas here about a month ago until the javelina started coming through. Pigs love these. Javelina loves them. These have been growing all summer, and so they're covering the soil for us really well, and we'll obviously get a crop. All of these are purple sweet potatoes. We just bought them from the grocery store, so I don't know the exact variety, I just know they're purple. We should get a nice big harvest out of here. So just wrapped up with everyone. I'll tell you what, it was really cool to have a lot of you guys that watch us here, I know, here with us today. That was really special for Lori and I to be able to spend that time with you, especially as we go into the holiday season and get some actual FaceTime with everybody, so that was cool. One of the things we had happen while we were doing the tour is we had one of our turkeys was bleeding profusely out of the side of her head. So I want to go ahead and take a look at her. We don't know what happened to her, so we don't know whether it was just one of the other turkeys that did the damage to her head or if there was something else in the run that she got caught on. Lori saw kind of the gash on the side of her head this morning, and then of course once turkeys, any poultry really, sees that, they just go after it. So she was bleeding pretty bad right in the middle of having everybody here. But we've got her in the small tractor. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take the 2 remaining layers, get them into the small tractor, get them onto the pasture because she's really missing her buddies.
It must be over by the other wood stuff.
Come on, girl.
Here you go.
Okay. Yeah, let me.
Her.
Oh, they went right for grains. Wrong way. She wants to come in, but she's not so sure. All right. There you go. We had originally had her in the small chicken tractor just to separate her this morning while we had everybody here. But she gets really upset and nervous when she's by herself, constantly pacing, and we don't want her to re-injure herself. She's got a pretty good gash on the side of her head. We don't know how that occurred. I'm not sure if it was one of the other turkeys that did it, but it's a pretty good sized gash. So obviously we need to keep her separate, make sure she has a chance to heal because the turkeys were just pecking at her incessantly. So we're gonna keep her in here, let her have her own space, and she seems to be doing fine now that we have the rest of the turkeys right here next to her. So I guess from a timing standpoint, at least this happened when we had the tractor available, when we wouldn't have 2 weeks ago because of the broilers. So, you okay, girl? Huh? You okay? One of the things we learned with turkeys is they're pretty tough. So, you know, I'm sure that she's gonna be fine. We'll just keep an eye on her to make sure she's gonna be doing all right and she gets all better. You finding that scratch? I think you are. Had an interesting day. Right at the very beginning of the tour, I mean, right up front. I walk around, you had split off to go and take care of something, and I see blood, and my heart sank. You know, here we've got, what, 40 people here, and some kiddos, and to see that, that was, that was nerve-wracking.
Yeah.
But fortunately, we had the extra tractor.
Yep, so we were able to pull her out, get her separated right away.
Mm-hmm. And already, obviously, everything's dried, but pretty good gash.
Yeah. When she was in the tractor, I think she kind of opened it and pulled it bigger because it wasn't that big when we first pulled her out. But I think just trying to get out of the tractor to get back to the other turkeys, she was rubbing her head against the hardware cloth.
Oh, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Well, she seems fine now. I mean, she was in there content, pecking at the scratch,
mm-hmm.
kind of wandering around, and she wasn't making the, you know, kind of the warbling noises when she's separated.
Yeah.
So hopefully
I think she'll do good because then she can be with them, but then get away from them, so nobody can peck at her.
Right. Obviously, we had our first group here as a farm tour, and you know, one of the things that we wanted to do this round was invite folks from our customer email list,
mm-hmm.
and we gave short notice because we wanted to make sure we kept a small crowd
yeah.
for the first one.
Yeah.
And it's pretty good to have 40 or so people here with us this morning.
Yeah.
And have that before all the trees go to sleep.
Yes.
So that was neat.
Yeah, a lot of them are starting to.
They're
Little berries.
They are.
Grapes.
You really can see it as you get time to walk by. It's great to have everybody here to see the farm in person. We had a couple folks that are long-term subscribers that were here that got a chance to meet in person. So Eric, it was cool to meet you. Kylan, to see you as well. Jordan, it's funny because in my mind, I think of my buddy like I was telling you, but to see you here, that was great. And I know I'm forgetting people, but my mind's all scrambled because I'm hungry. But it was great having you guys out here. Really appreciated you being gracious with us as we watched you guys around the farm and had a chance to look at everything. Hopefully we got some good footage for everybody so they could see it here as well. You know, one of the things that we have available that we don't talk about here on YouTube much is the farm business itself. For you guys that are here in the Phoenix area, you know, events and things like that, we usually put out to our customer email list first, because those are the folks that you know, give us their information. We stay in contact with more regularly, and so we typically do workshop announcements and other announcements through that list. So if you guys want to join that, you can go over to our website, and you'll see a link pop up if you haven't been there before. The website is down below, but definitely join that. You guys will get your kind of premier access to the farm and to Lori and I through that. So definitely do that if you're here and it's something that interests you. We do need to get some updates to everyone as far as the full farm, I think, before it goes to bed, if we can figure that out. But we got holidays coming up.
We do, yes.
So you guys know Thanksgiving time here for us in the States. I know the opposite end of the world, so for you guys that watch us in Australia, you guys are heading into spring. Actually in spring.
That's crazy.
I know, heading towards summer, but yeah, obviously we're getting ready for it to cool off here. Definitely looking forward to that. If this is your first time here, this is our weekly vlog. This is where we give everybody an update on what's going on the farm, but would love to have you as a subscriber and share the content. If you know anybody that's into this kind of thing, would love it if you would share the content. It definitely helps us out here. Questions or comments, you know, those go down in the comment section below. And our Amazon shop, that's a free, painless way to help support the channel. If you start with a link down below, it doesn't matter what you buy, you help to support us here. So just want to thank you for joining us today and remind you, if we can farm on the edge of nowhere,
so can you.
Oh, shoot. I put it down a little bit. Yeah. So now you got a bloody farm shirt.
Yeah.
Got a bloody farm shirt. All right, let's go eat. I'm hungry.